Live, local, late breaking. This is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:30 on December 23rd. Welcome to Newswatch 12 this morning. I'm Carlos Murrieta. We're taking a live look out at Gold Beach from Jerry's Rogue Jets. We want to turn back over to Storm Alert Weather 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress for a look at your Tuesday.
And today we're tracking out wet weather, gusty winds, and some mountain snow. This morning it definitely is starting off on the chilly side, and those high temperatures aren't going to be climbing too high, especially into our west side valleys today. We'll see them anywhere from about 42 from Medford, 41 to Grants Pass. East side we have 47 for Klamath Falls, 46 for your high into Yreka, and 51 along the coast. Now skies are going to be overcast to mostly cloudy throughout your day, and rain that we're seeing this morning, mainly into Siskiyou County and east side, that's going to become a bit more widespread as we switch into the afternoon today. We'll get a short break later this evening, areas inland, but it is going to pick up again late today and into those overnight hours. We can expect some heavier precipitation to come down, especially into Siskiyou County. We also are tracking out some mountain snow today and some stronger wind gusts as well. Here's a look at your next 3 days into the Rogue Valley. We will be seeing showers likely into your Wednesday, with rain returning again late into your night, and then we'll have a wet Thursday with even more gusty winds along with that next system. So here's a look at what we can expect when it does come to winter weather today. We do have a winter weather advisory in place for the Cascades above 5,000 feet starting at 10 a.m. this morning, lasting until your 10 a.m. on your Wednesday. Also, we have a winter storm warning in effect for Siskiyou County above 4,500 feet. And this morning, with those snow levels starting a little bit lower, if you are tracking through Snowman Summit, could encounter some slick spots there this morning, but snow levels do rise throughout your day, maybe just a little bit locally lower into Mount Shasta area with that steadier rainfall. But in general, it is a bit warmer into Siskiyou County today. We'll see them lower a bit later this week. Now, when it comes to rainfall, we're going to keep a close eye on it as well, because we're going to be seeing heavy amounts into Siskiyou County. And not only with that heavier rainfall can we expect to see some flooding impacts, but also that is going to impact visibility while driving when it does come down a bit heavier. So we'll keep a close eye on that into Siskiyou County and along the coast as well. I'll have more details on what we can expect with those gusty winds and that mountain snow all coming up in your next forecast. Carlos?
Thank you, Sarah. And new this morning, the BLM says Southwest Oregon forests are under stress. Now, the agency is asking for public input on a proposed timber harvest in the Applegate and Lake Creek areas. Under the proposal, BLM would find areas with high tree mortality and offer timber sales to private companies. Let's bring in Newswatch 12's Danny Stepanovich with more.
Thanks, Carlos. So why is this happening? Well, BLM says on top of drought and hotter temperatures, there's a main culprit, and it's this little guy, an invasive beetle called the flat-headed fir borer that's killing Douglas fir trees across the region. Now, BLM is calling for urgent action.
So this project's designed to remove dead and dying trees to enhance public and firefighter safety.
The Douglas fir mortality assessment targets 9,000 acres across the Applegate and Lake Creek areas.
The three main goals is kind of to reduce the number of dead trees, to make it safer for firefighters, to reduce that fire risk, and then to help reset forest conditions to be healthier.
But conservation groups say what's being labeled as salvage logging doesn't match what they're seeing on the ground.
One of our big concerns is that when you actually get out on the ground and look at the timber sale units, a pretty good portion of those units are actually green, living stands.
Luke says BLM documents allow logging in forests with as little as 10% tree mortality, and that up to 85% of living trees could be removed in some areas.
Clearly, when you're logging, 85% of a living stand, the end result is canopy loss, habitat loss, and deforestation.
He argues those mature, closed canopy forests are among the most fire resistant on the landscape.
Now, when you cut out those large trees and you remove that overstory canopy, what you're doing is replacing those fire-resistant trees with young, even-age growth that is much more flammable.
BLM counters that dead and standing trees can make firefighting extremely dangerous. The agency says project boundaries and acre totals are not final, and that public comments could lead to changes. That public comment period is now open through January 14th, while the environmental assessment is expected in mid-2026. In studio, Danny Stepanovich.
Thank you, Danny. Also new this morning, the Eagle Point School District, along with the police department, is asking students to uphold the Code of Eagle Nation and make good decisions, as the district says they have experienced profound loss in recent years. The urgent warning comes after recent incidents involving misuse of apps and unsupervised parties where alcohol and drugs were present, including cocaine, which tragically has resulted in traffic deaths. Families are being encouraged to talk to their kids about the dangers of substance use, impaired driving, and unsafe gatherings. The district also says it's critical for students to pause, think, and choose safety first. And on to a travel alert. The California Highway Patrol is urging drivers to slow down during the holiday season. CHP will kick off a holiday enforcement period starting at 6:01 p.m. tomorrow and ending at 11:59 p.m. on Christmas Day. Officials say that during last year's 30-hour holiday enforcement, more than 300 impaired drivers were arrested and officers issued more than 2,200 speeding tickets to drivers. Local agencies in Oregon will also be increasing patrols this week. And into some developing news, Asante's orthopedic surgery and spine care clinic in Ashland is set to close in the spring of next year. Newswatch 12 reached out to Asante and confirmed both will be closed on March 4th. Asante said in the event a service procedure or follow-up cannot be completed by March 4th, they will support patients with referrals to a new provider. And Governor Tina Kotek is announcing a $65 million investment that will support behavioral health treatment statewide. Now, those funds will support the addition of up to 146 new treatment beds, which includes 31 in Jackson County. Those beds will be operated through Continuum, formerly known as On Track. Another 8 to 16 beds could open in Curry or Coos County, and a closer look at these funds and when beds are expected to be operational can be found on our website. And we are now just 8 days from the deadline for survivors of the 2020 Labor Day wildfires to apply for the Homeowner Assistance and Reconstruction Program. The Oregon Housing and Community Services says the HARP program helps survivors rebuild, repair, and buy a new home, as well as reimburse out-of-pocket expenses. The application starts with an eligibility questionnaire, which now has expanded criteria. More details on available assistance, resources, and survivor stories can be found on kdrv.com. And Covered California is urging all uninsured residents to explore their health insurance options before December 31st. Officials at Covered California say the deadline ensures coverage for the entire 2026 year. The open enrollment period for 2026 ends on January 31st, but to have insurance in place for the month of January, people need to be enrolled by the end of December. Currently, more than 1.9 million Californians are enrolled. They also have until December 31st to make changes to their coverage for the upcoming year. And on to continuing coverage, Klamath Falls City Schools classified workers donated $10,000 to the Klamath Lake County Food Bank ahead of more wage negotiations. Now, these educators, who are the lowest paid in the district, secured the funds through the Oregon Education Association. The president of Classified Educators Union told Newswatch 12 the donation means a lot, and this supports students, their families, and school staff.
It's really tough. I'm so glad that we were able to get this to support our 25% of our membership is using state assistance, whether that be OHP, food stamp benefits, needing to utilize the food bank.
After the donation event, negotiations continued, but no deal was reached. These educators are now calling for mediation and say that they're prepared to strike if the district does not agree to increase wages in the new year. And yesterday marked the end of an era for the F-15C fighter jet at Kingsley Field, but the bittersweet ending is opening new doors for future fighter jets and pilots. Newswatch 12's Grace Ritz had a chance to attend the last taxi and find out more about what's in store.
After decades of protecting the skies and training fighter pilots, the final two F-15C Eagle jets at Kingsley Field said their final goodbye in a final taxi.
You know, we've trained a little over 1,000 pilots, sent them around the world, doing great things for America and the defense of our nation. 104-0 in air-to-air combat. That's an unprecedented history and legacy, really, for the training that happens here at Kingsley Field. Retired
and active Air Force members and their families lined the flight line, offering one final salute as the jets departed for NASA, making a final loop over the town.
It was kind of like a reunion out there today. There was former base commanders, people that recruited me here. It was pretty neat to see, but everybody's kind of rallying.
And the sounds of these jets have become familiar to many.
These have been a daily part of our lives for the last 3 decades, and then part of the community's lives for the last 3 decades.
These F-15C fighter jets have trained over 1,000 pilots, and now they're moving on and bringing a brighter future to Kingsley Field.
Now it's our turn to move to the next generation of fighter. We get rid of the parts and pieces in the warehouse, and then we have a lot of construction to do. So we're looking to get the record of decision signed this summer. That kind of slap the table that you're getting a new mission. Once that's done, we can start construction and really retooling the base for the future.
Although this is a bittersweet closing of a chapter, Kingsley Field is excited to plan for the next generation of fighter jets and pilots. Reporting in Klamath Falls, I'm Grace Ritz.
In Siskiyou County, Sheriff Jeremiah LaRue is introducing a couple of new deputies to town. Steele Pearson and Skylar Crane were just sworn in after graduating from the College of the Siskiyou's Law Enforcement Academy. Both men were self-sponsored, attending the academy full-time and completing 6 months of a rigorous course to become certified patrol deputies. And the annual Greystone Court Holiday Food and Fun Drive is back for its 25th year, and it runs through Christmas Eve in East Medford. The event will be held nightly from 5:30 to 9 p.m. on Greystone Court, located off North Phoenix Road in East Medford. Community members are invited to donate non-perishable food items and cash to benefit the Access Food Bank.